Biggest problem that I feel like I had with driving Class A is the constant risk of being pulled over. Bro, I got pulled over like 3, 4 times. I got pulled over right before my birthday. You know how mad I was? I'm on the way home. I got pulled over by DOT. You know, outside of getting past those way stations. Oh my God, that's probably, I believe that's what got me out of driving a Class A vehicle. Hey, what up, team? I know it's been a little while. Boy, where you been? Hey, yep, I'm back. Hey, but I wanted to get to you guys this video because it was heavy on my mind when it came to just the whole process of getting into driving commercially. You know, when I had first got my license, all I heard about was go get your Class A's, they're hiring truck drivers, and they are. But there are always going to be a need for Class A drivers. There are some ups and downs to being a Class A driver, but it really just depends on your lifestyle and how you view just being on the road, or what other kind of opportunities you have to get into trucking. So yeah, I wanted to make this video to give you an insight and basically a different perspective on getting your Class B's as well as your P and S endorsement. Alright, so what I have currently, I have my Class A's. I got those initially, and then I went straight into trucking. It wasn't through a contract of any sort. I was sponsored through the Community Action Agency. So I got my license, my schooling for free. I went and took my test. It was all great. So that was not an issue at all. It was a great direction going straight in to get my Class A's. But something that I did not know is that your opportunities are kind of slim until you get that good amount of experience with driving a Class A vehicle. And then along with getting your experience with driving a Class A vehicle, there's a number of endorsements that you have to further get if you didn't get them initially. Like, my Class A's are restricted, and at the moment I don't have any other endorsements outside of my P and S endorsement, which I want to get to in a minute. When it came to me driving out the gate, I was driving for Western Express. Now, everybody's heard something about Western Express, good or bad, mostly bad for a lot of people, but my experience, I didn't have a bad experience let's not say that. I didn't have too bad of an experience with Western Express, given how often I was going home and the money that I was making. So when I was with Western Express, I had went through the orientation, got my trainer, and after I got all of my miles from driving from I went from Tennessee to basically Georgia, cut across through Texas, all the way out to California, and basically back. So I got my full training, if you get what I'm saying. Alright, so yeah, I got it in with my trainer. Pause. I had to pause that. Yeah, we was getting those miles in on the road, and I felt good about it. And then I got to being on my own on the road, and I didn't want to be out every month because I had a shorty, what I'm saying, and I want to enjoy the shorty, what I'm saying. So I talked with my DM. I said that every now and then I'll probably do three weeks, but I want to be home every 2 weeks, if not sooner. And the best thing that I had going for me, I kid you not, the best thing that I had going for me when I was at Western Express, and hopefully you guys, if you're getting into trucking, is having a great DM. that changes everything. You could have a bad experience or a good experience based on your driver manager, no matter what company you're at. You know, when I eventually left, I told him, you know, you're great. You know, I had no complaints about you at all. Damn, sweat. Got no complaints at all. You know, I told him if I ever came back to Western Express, hopefully I don't, but if I ever came back, I will want him as my DM if he's still there. So, yeah, he worked with me a lot with getting home and making sure that, you know, I'm taking home something good. You know, you can, that's usually the trade-off with a lot of new drivers. It's, okay, you can either be out on the road and make a lot of money, or you're going to not be on the road as much and you're not going to be making as much money, because you're most likely getting either paid a percentage of a load. Now, if you're not taking that many loads throughout a month, you're making less. Or you're getting per mile. Me, at Western, I was making per mile. And it wasn't a great per mile, you know, with Western being one of those second chance companies. You know, they're pretty big. They hire people with backgrounds that aren't favorable and new drivers. So I started off on the low end, just based off of my availability with the companies around me. Trust me, I reached out to a lot of companies, and outside of applying and contacting everybody, they were requiring such a high amount of experience. I'm sorry I'm sweating. It is hot. And I ain't gonna lie, no matter where you at, unless you in a truck right now or at home with some good AC, it's going to be hot right now. We're in the middle of August. This is my birthday month, August 13th. Alright, so outside of all the perspiration, it's gonna come. You know, it's hard work out here. I just got off my shift and I had to get you guys this video. Alright, so I could be continuing to get my experience and all that, and like I said, different opportunities could come for an individual to where they're able to find a job that will get them basically home every day. You know, for me, a lot of companies around my area, that wasn't the case. Especially with my experience starting out. You know, it's not so much that they just don't want to give you the opportunity. It's just that it goes deeper. You know, they talk about insurance. Companies get killed on insurance the less experience that a driver has. My DM did hook me up. He got me with I don't know if you seen my previous video, but I was working pretty much with Walmart, but through Western Express. So I was getting Walmart loads. I was delivering to stores, and I was basically on a route that would get me home every day if I lived in the area where that Walmart was. There was times where I was able to get home every other day then, and then there was times where I was able to get home maybe every 3 days. You know, that was really working out for me well, and I really enjoyed that. That helped boost the average of money that I was bringing in, because Walmart pays a specific amount for their third-party drivers. It's not by the mile. So eventually it got me back to on the road with Western, and more I just wanted to be home. I'm not gonna lie to you, and this is why I'm talking to you guys about getting your Class B's or P&S endorsements, because typically Class B drivers are working around their area. They're not really going too far out in a Class B kind of vehicle. You know, you might be going maybe up a few cities, maybe, and then back home. You know, there's several different jobs when it comes to Class B vehicles. You know, you got the dump trucks, you got what I'm doing now, which is school bus driving, which I would highly recommend outside of the lack of AC. All right, so it was pretty hot. I ain't gonna lie, so I'm gonna just get the moving. And I'm about to get to my house, getting that AC. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this video on the road. All right, so to continue on the video in an actually temperature controlled environment, I want to go ahead and say that, yeah, your money's really gonna come from what driving school buses with the field trips. It's gonna come from the field trips. That's pretty much the difference between, making around 7 to maybe 1,000 a week to 1,500 to 2,000 a week, based on picking up those field trips. For the school district that I drive for, I'm not gonna mention. Hopefully, you guys never find out. No shame to them. It's just that I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems. I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just a driver YouTuber, But they pay pretty good. I got started out being paid, I think, 24 an hour, if I remember right. And that was a year ago. And I'm pretty much almost 25. We can get into the hourly talk, whether that's good or not. But what I look at is the time to the amount of work ratio, time to work pay ratio. When I was driving my Class A truck with the drive-in, I was working full days, making less than I am now. And I was all over the country. Literally, I had loads taking me to South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, crossing them swamps, them big, tall bridges over them swamps in Louisiana. Texas, like I said, I've gone from Texas all the way to California, gone through Oklahoma. Like I've made a nice little few loops my time at Western, and the money just didn't compare to the amount of money that I'm making while working less and being home more, able to enjoy what I'm working for a little more. I think that's one of the biggest benefits that you'll get with driving a Class B vehicle, or getting in get your Class A or doing Class B vehicle work. It's one of the biggest blessings for me. There are so many things that you see growing up, and you never really know what you'll really find yourself getting into when you are in that position to where you gotta pay bills, you gotta make a living. You find yourself doing pretty much anything, and it's typically not what you first thought you'd see yourself doing. But yeah, the field trips for me, though, that's what makes driving school buses worth it. And on top of that, the time that I have left, like I just got off, my shift pretty much ends, my route's pretty much end around 4:15. It might run a little bit later depending on what's all going on the road, or if they need me to pick up a third school or not. I technically only have 2 schools on my route. I enjoy driving school buses. I never thought I'd say that, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that I love my job. Like I don't want to have anything risk my job, me working at my job, because I'm so grateful and I love it so much. A lot of people have second thoughts about driving school buses simply because it's like, oh, well, you got a bunch of rowdy kids, da 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 da. And they try to put everything off on the kids. When, to me, I haven't had a problem to where I've had to write any kids up. I've had to, lay down the law a few times. I mean, you got to stand your ground no matter what you're doing, whether if it's kids or adults. Like, I didn't want to get into driving the basically the public transportation with for Ohio, we got RTA. I didn't want to get into that because if anything, I'll deal with kids. I'm not about to deal with grown kids. You know what I'm saying? Like adults acting like kids. That's what kept me away from driving basically the metro, you know. But yeah, I love kids, you know. No drizzy. They not like us. All that, you know, I genuinely see them as the future. No slight to Drake, you know, it's just a time and poke fun. It's a little joke, man. I don't believe he's a PDF or none of that, bro. I love Drake. You know, it's just content purposes. But yeah, kids are cool, man. They're at a point where they're growing to understand right from wrong, what they can get away with, what they can't, you know. And if you break it down, they without getting paid, they're punching the clock too. They gotta be at school earlier than a lot of people gotta be at work, and they're having full days. They're probably at school longer than a lot of people are at work, and you know they gotta get home too. You know, and I enjoy the fact that I get to get them to and from safely. Yeah, a bonus to it is the field trips. You know, I've done overnight field trips. Like my most recent one, I went pretty much, where was I at? My overnight had me towards about I want to say about 30 minutes to 45 minutes south of Cleveland. And I'm pretty much coming from southwest Ohio. So yeah, that overnight, just to break down the pay, I left Friday. So I got my whole work day Friday, did my routes Friday, picked everybody up, and then we took off. This was a debate team event. Was this a debate team? Yes, this was the debate team. So got us up. We're on the road. It's about three-hour drive, and we get to basically check in at the event center, get all that sorted out. I think they had their preliminary events. It ends, and then we go to the hotel for the night, which was pretty much around the corner from where the events and everything were going on. So what I'm trying to say with all that is think of that time frame from pretty much my morning route to the end of that day where I'm at the hotel. I got paid from pretty much my morning route to end of the morning route to the beginning, from the beginning of my afternoon route to when I parked up at the hotel. So we parked up at the hotel about 11 at night. I got well over 10 hours of work that day. I think it was around that. Give or take that for legal purposes. But yeah, I got paid pretty good for that overnight. And then not just that day, I got paid the next day, which was Saturday. So Saturday, from the time that I got my pre-trip started to when I got everybody back, all the way like after the next day, they had like the finals. They had that whole event. I'm getting paid that whole time. And then I picked them up. And until I got back to basically park my bus at the lot. So that amount of money is really wild, you know, and then for the time, you know, I got my room paid for, my hotel was paid for. I think I had to cover one meal, you know. It was gravy, you know, and there's more of those to come. Like this coming weekend, I have a football field trip on Friday, so I'm working all day Friday, and then the next day I have a field trip on Saturday. This is another thing for my school district. After I think it's after 7 or 8 hours, it's overtime. So it's like it's a crazy amount of money for the time is what I'm trying to get at and express to you guys to why you should get your Class B's, man. I'm telling you, you're working closer to home. You're making more money for the time. In my opinion, and until with Class A's or unless you have a direct hookup into a really good paying company, or you got that experience built up to where they're paying you more for your time per mile, per load, whatever it is, I get it. You're most likely not going to get that unless you do what I do, which is do both. Like, I'll work throughout the school year at the school with the driving the school buses, and then throughout the summer, get with another company, do some direct loads or whatnot. But yeah, there's so much more freedom with Class B's. I'm starting to see, But yeah, with Class A's, you gotta have that experience. You gotta have a good company. You gotta have all those endorsements, and then most likely, if you're getting into the tanker stuff and the hazmat stuff, like your life's more at risk, So, my ideology starting out was, I'm cool with being alone. I like to be on the road, I don't want to be dealing with nobody. But then it's just like, shoot, I'm in the house still sweating. It's just hot, man. It's the middle of August, man. You're gonna get these sweat wipes throughout the video. It is what it is. I got the AC cooling. I ain't no gang member. Alright, so yeah, I just wanted to express that to you guys because when I started to get my commercial driver's license, nobody really broke it down to me. Like, only thing I was hearing is that, oh yeah, you get your Class A's, you'll get paid so much. But nobody told me how cold it got. Just being alone, being on the road, driving hours on end. Oh, and I almost forgot. One of the biggest problems I had with driving Class A, the drive-ins with the semis, biggest problem I had. And I don't want to draw this video out too long. We're probably sitting around 22 minutes. But I got to get this to y'all. All right? So the biggest problem that I feel like I had with driving Class A is the constant risk of being pulled over. Bro, I got pulled over like 3-4 times. I got pulled over right before my birthday. You know how mad I was? I'm on the way home. I got pulled over by DOT. Outside of getting past those way stations, oh my God, that's probably, I believe that's what got me out of driving the Class A vehicles. I'm sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Oh, man, I got pulled over so many times within a short amount of time. I kid you not. I remember there was one time that it just coincidentally, it was a Western driver, then me. We're all Western drivers. 2 of them got through in this line on the way station, right? Guess who got pulled over? Me! Why? Had a headlight out somehow. I did my pre-trip. That light wasn't out, bruh. And that's the messed up thing about it. You could do your pre-trip and all that, but all of this stuff can still go sour while you're on the road. And on top of that, don't let you be overweight. That's coming out your pocket. There was, I think 2 times that because I got a citation, I didn't get fined directly. I don't know how that played out on Western's end, but the time I got pulled for the headlight, Western had me basically do a course where I had to watch videos and answer questions. And basically same thing happened when I got pulled over a weigh station again because my trailer light wasn't working. Why wasn't my trailer light working? Because there was basically a wiring problem between my truck and my trailer. So where the green cord goes in, your electric cord goes in, that port on the trailer, there was a wiring problem. The wiring was loose in there. So I would plug it in, and basically if I hit a bump, it would come loose. So my lights would go out, and I had to wait. The waiting that I had to do to have truck repair come out, it was some of the most frustrating stuff, and it really had me turn sour on driving Class A vehicles, like drive-ins and all that. It's just too much risk of being pulled over and fined. Now I'm gonna leave you guys with this, because this is just to put the cherry on top and let you know how messed up it got with me with the Class A stuff, right? So driving my load, like I said, it was around my birthday last August, right? You see my birthday video before. I had one before, but yeah, I'm a Leo baby, born August 13th. I'm on my way home. You know, I done delivered my load, and I'm just trying to get home. I got about 3-hour drive. I'm going pretty much north through Kentucky, right? Going north through Kentucky. And I'm trying to remember if it was north or I was heading west. I think it was coming from one of the Carolinas. It wasn't that Kentucky or this time. So I'm driving right. Getting it. I'm just trying to get home. Because you know what I'm about to do when I get home. You know, I'm going to wash up and do all that eating stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's a long time coming. Right? So, you know, my mind on one thing. I did what I had to do to get the load dropped off, and I'm heading home. I see a driver giving me this weird look on the way, right? And he's like pointing at me. He looked kind of mad and stuff. And I'm like, all right, that obviously means something, but I don't know. He didn't say pull over. He's just like, I don't know if what I did to him, you know. Yeah, I didn't have a ham radio or whatever that is in my truck. So, you know, he couldn't just say, hey, D-bag, this happened. You know, I would have known, and I probably should have pulled over after he was fussing, but, you know, I'm trying to get home. All right? So it's not like I'm speeding or I'm skipping any steps or anything like that. But, you know, you don't know what it is to get home. That's what it is, you know. So driving probably about 5 minutes after that, I see a DOT trooper and one of those SUVs get behind me, right? I see that and I'm like, dang, I'm just trying to go home. I'm just trying to go home. It's my birthday. It's my birthday week, man. It's my birthday weekend. That's the reason why I was going home in the first place, because it was my birthday. My DM hooked me up, like I said. He cool, right? Dude flashes lights on me. I'm like, dang, I'm driving perfectly and all that. There's nothing wrong. I pull over and he walks up. He was like, I'm gonna let you know that you're missing 2 mud flaps. I'm like, what? I was like, can I look at this? He's like, yeah, come on back. I went to the back of the trailer, right? The whole bar holding both the mud flaps was gone. I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah, it's basically like a $300 fine each mud flap. I'm like, whoa! Oh no! But he left me off with a warning. Thank God. He just let me know, and then he was like, you know, get to the nearest shop. You know, that delayed me probably a good 2-3 hours, but I was heading home after that. I thank God I didn't get that fine, because I would have quit right then and there. You know, I was fed up. I did not like getting pulled over and all that. Typically, with your Class B vehicles, you're working locally, and law officials, they know you're working locally. Long as you're not speeding or doing anything dumb, they're not going to be looking your way. They're looking for everybody else. You know, they know you're on the clock. They know you're working. You're being responsible. Just don't not be responsible. You know, drive the speed limit. Use your turn signals. You know, be precautious all the same. Is what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, those are my reasons to go ahead and get your Class B's, get your P&S endorsements. You know, if you got your Class A's, get your P&S endorsements. Find some local work to do, because I'm going to be the one to tell you if nobody else tells you, you know. All right. Make sure you guys like the video. I done put blood, sweat, and tears in this one. Y'all don't see me wiping my forehead. So yeah, like the video, share the video if you know anybody getting into trucking or want to. And then lastly, I'm trying to get to 1K subscribers. Come on now, hit that subscribe button, y'all. Peace.